The following message was found on tape on the 9th of December 2014 in an abandoned house in the outskirts of Texas. It's believed that the tape is made by the lost owner of the house, but it's not yet verified. The tape is decrypted and retold, and it goes as followed.
It all began innocently enough with a letter that arrived in the mail on a gloomy Tuesday morning. I'm Sarah, and I've always considered myself a rational person, dismissing superstitions and ghost stories as mere nonsense. But that day, as I held the envelope in my trembling hands, I felt a sense of unease I couldn't explain. The letter was ordinary enough, a plain white envelope with no return address. My address was typed neatly on the front, and my name was scrawled across it in handwriting that looked unnaturally elegant. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about it. As I opened the envelope, a single sheet of paper slid out. It was a letter, but the words on the page sent a chill down my spine. The writing was inky black, and the words seemed to writhe and twist on the page as if they were alive. The letter contained a message that made no sense, a jumble of cryptic symbols and phrases that seemed to be in a language I couldn't understand. It was as if the words themselves were cursed, filling me with a sense of dread. I tried to dismiss it as a prank or a bizarre mistake, but as the days passed, more letters arrived, each one more unsettling than the last. The messages grew darker, the symbols more sinister. It was as if someone or something was trying to communicate with me, something beyond the realm of the living. I couldn't escape the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes were following my every move. I began to lose sleep, my nights haunted by strange dreams and the sense of a malevolent presence in my home. Desperate for answers, I sought out experts in the occult and paranormal. They examined the letters and the strange symbols, but none could provide a satisfactory explanation. Some suggested that I was the target of a demonic entity, while others believed it was the work of a vengeful spirit. I tried to ignore the letters, to go about my daily life as if nothing were amiss. But they continued to arrive, each one more insistent, more menacing. They spoke of a darkness that would consume me, of a fate I could not escape. As the letters multiplied, so did the sense of foreboding that hung over me. I knew that I was being drawn into a sinister web of malevolence, one that threatened to consume my very soul. And then one fateful night, as I lay in bed, I heard a voice, a sinister whisper that seemed to emanate from the shadows themselves. It spoke in the same incomprehensible language as the letters, and its words filled me with a dread so profound that I could barely breathe. I realized then that I was not dealing with a mere prank or a disturbed individual. I was facing something far more ancient, far more malevolent, a demonic entity that had marked me as its prey. As the sinister whispers continued to torment my nights, I spiraled deeper into despair. The letters arrived with increasing frequency, each one more threatening than the last. My once peaceful life had become a waking nightmare, and I felt as if I were teetering on the edge of madness. I sought the help of priests and paranormal investigators, hoping that they could rid me of this malevolent presence, but their efforts were in vain. The entity that plagued me seemed immune to their prayers and rituals. It was as if it reveled in my suffering, growing stronger with each passing day. I became a recluse, afraid to leave my home after dark, for fear that the entity would follow me wherever I went. I could no longer trust my own senses, as the whispers and shadows played tricks on my mind. One fateful night, as I lay in bed, I felt a cold, bony hand close around my ankle. I screamed in terror, but there was no one there, no physical presence to account for the chilling touch. The entity had crossed a terrible threshold, invading not just my mind but my physical world. I was no longer safe anywhere, not even within the confines of my own home. With each passing day, I grew weaker, my body and soul drained by the relentless onslaught of the entity. I knew that I was running out of time, that there was no escape from the malevolent force that had marked me as its prey. And then one night, as I lay in bed, the room was plunged into darkness. The whispers grew deafening, and I felt a presence, cold and suffocating, pressing down upon me. I could no longer move, no longer scream. I was paralyzed, a prisoner in my own body. The entity had finally claimed me, and I could feel its icy grip closing in. It whispered terrible promises of eternal suffering, of a fate worse than death. And then, in that final, horrifying moment, I felt a searing pain, as if my very soul were being torn from my body. The world went black, and I knew no more.